This week on SV Lynx. Welcome to this week's SV Lynx video. Last week we got a lot of work done on the sugar scoops. This week we're on to all new tasks.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of work to get done because we're trying to get all of our green stuff built into the boat. We're a little behind on that, so we're pushing hard to get it done. So we're going to move on to a lot of new stuff. So let's get right to it. It's a new week, but we're going to continue our theme we've been working on of the stern of the boat. And right now what we're doing is we're cutting in the holes that are going to be for our rudder bar, which is being made currently by a machine shop. And we're going to be cutting holes through here, all of these going across here. And we want to do that now because they haven't started on that bar yet. They're going to start later today. And what we're going to do is get these holes in here and then take a test piece that's basically the same measurement as the metal bar we're having fabricated and make sure we can get it in here from the side of the boat so that we have it, we know that it's divided in the right spot for getting in from both sides of the boat. Because we got to deal with that white container over there being in the way and the distance we have over here where the fence is coming in from this side. So we have more room over here, so that one's longer, and less room over there, so that one's shorter. But we want to make sure it's going to work before we weld this all together. So that's why we're drilling these holes right now, and then we'll mock up a bar and try to put it in. The tie rod's sitting something like this right here, and it's going to turn, go up at an angle to where Brian just shoved that little piece of foam through right there. So the bar comes down at an angle, ties into the tie rod at the end of that little piece of metal I have right there. So that's how that goes. Okay, working on the new steps on the sugar scoops for the port side, and this is the lower step here, and we had to match the curvature of this on here, which is why we made this one first. But so that's setting up there. Now this one has to be a different kind of step because although this one glues to the back, this one can't. And so the reason being, I'll show you over here, is that step goes back here, and there's a gate that slides along here. So there has to be a gap in here for the gate. So therefore this step has to be a U shape out here so that you can slide that gate behind the step right here. So that's why we're creating that one in that correct shape. Now the measurements of these actually turn out to be around 6.5 inches here and a 10-inch step on the same thing here. You get a 10-inch step and about 6.5 of a riser. But this will just be the port side. Now we haven't done the starboard side over here because we've got to get the floor in here to get precise measurements. We have the pieces. This is the two riser board, and this is the step for this one right here. And we also have a board for the step that goes right here already. But we're not going to cut that until we get that floor in there. But this one we could get precise measurements on. So we're going to set that up right now. This one we already glued. We're about to glue this one right here, right now. Instead of gluing these in to the boat and then putting this top down on the risers and the top down, by building the steps separately, we can easily tab the inside of it before we glue it on to the boat and then tab the outsides. these two steps set up, and tomorrow we can test fit them over there, see where they go, and any little adjustments that might need to be made, but I'm pretty sure they're right. We, of course, dry fitted them in there and they look great. What's up next is we've got to build the little plates in front, which I'll show you in a moment here. So this is the piece I'm talking about. It goes right there. And there's a bottom piece here to keep the water from getting into the hole that's in there. So we started making this piece, and I'll cut the next bottom piece next, and then we can seal this hole up. Sometimes when we get here in the morning, it's like opening up Christmas presents. Stuff is set up overnight, like these steps. So I get to take them apart and go see how they fit. So take these over. Put them in place over there. There's our step. And we have the upper step as well. All right. That one goes there. All right, so, and you have this space to step on too, as your, for example, I'm not doing it now, but you could step here with this foot and, you know, clear over the there with that foot if you want to. There's plenty of room for making it a little easier on the knees coming up here. Can't tell you how much easier that is than walking over there right now. You know, that's a very comfortable amount of step.
A couple of our viewers in last week's video commented on they didn't think we should cut down the size of the sugar scoops with that step because there wouldn't be enough space down here. But as you can see, there are about 13 square feet or nearly 4 square meters of surface space on that area to stand on after you step down off that step. And including to the left of it, there's a big area to stand around in. So there's no real space problem on these sugar scoops. In fact, there's nearly twice the amount of square footage here of space on the sole area as there is, say, in the HH50, which is another performance catamaran, just as an example. They have about 7 square feet, and we have 13, so not quite twice as much, but nearly so. So there's plenty of space here to stand on and get on from the dock onto the side over there, or where I'm standing here onto the tender if we pull the tender up. So lots of space.
This morning we're continuing our work on the sugar scoop, and on the port side, this is the step, the lower step, and we need to get a rounded corner on it. So we filled this yesterday with thickened epoxy pretty deeply, and now I'm going to core it. I'm going to take a router and round it off right here. Give us a nice rounded corner so we can tab over that. As you can see, Brian is up on the roof sanding, and that's because we made a little mistake, and we're gonna have to fix it. So we took the sail track back off, and we're sanding it back to the fiberglass resin there to get the paint off, and we're gonna put some additional layers of basalt on top of the roof there. So this is where our fixed one goes. We put that biscuit in there to make it fit now. Now it fits perfectly like it's supposed to here. So this is the step for that port side. So I'm going to recreate that for the starboard side right now. I already have the top piece here. I just have to cut it off. And then this is going to end up being the support wall below. And for that, I just need to also trim it to length here. Now this one should go a little bit faster because I've already know what I'm doing for all those different pieces. So I just have to move along. I don't have to do any design and planning portions of it. So it should go much faster. Pulled all the peel ply, so this one's ready to glue together. That's one. Next, I got to work on the faces and the other step. So the faces first. Got the two boards here for this facing here, all curved so that they'll bend to here now. So now the next step is to glue these two in place with peel ply so they don't actually stick to this, just to get the curve, just like we did on the other one. And once that's done, then I'll build the step off the front of this side and start building the little pieces in there. I can probably start cutting those now. We're going to trade off. Brian's going to work on the step stuff now, coring it out and starting to fill all the edges, and I'm going to continue the sanding. All right, all done. Got it all sanded, and on Friday we'll put down the 2 layers of basalt. It's a little too sunny to do it today, but we got other things to do, so Friday we'll get to this. We're filling all the edges from the stairs on both the starboard and port side steps up the sugar scoops. So we're getting them all done at once here. And once we have all of this done, we can tab these on Friday, and that will complete these other than gluing them in. But we can't glue them in yet because the steering bar has to be in there before the floor can go in. We have to have the sole in there before we can finish all this up. So the good news is that our friends over at the machine shop are working on that steering bar, and I've got the bearing parts coming in, so I'll start building the bearings. So by the time I get the bar, the bearings will be ready to go. We can get that thing in there, and then we can finish these things up. Okay, we got our curved pieces in here following the curve. So, and again, with peel ply on bottom and bottom so that they can come back out again once they set up to the curve. And we're just going to let this sit until we come back on Friday, and then this will be ready to roll. So as I already mentioned, I messed up on something on the top of this sail track. There was a couple layers of glass that we needed to put down that we forgot. So we sanded off all the paint, and now we're going to put the glass down, but instead of glass, we're going to go basalt. My mistake, we weren't as good. Now we're going to be better. So first thing I got to do, we're all sanded. I just got to clean the surface. Get the dust off of here first. All right. Got a couple little spots I want to put some thickened epoxy in, which Brian's down mixing right now. Speaking of the devil, here he is. I got him up here. Now it's early in the morning because it's going to be a little bit warm today for a winter day. It's going to be 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And yes, if you live in somewhere else in the United States and you're going through hell and cold right now, you have our sympathy. We really wish you well. But fortunately for us, the weather is very, very nice. This is just to make sure that there are no gaps from the cloth to dip down into. Okay. Ready to roll. So Brian's mixing up the thin now, and we'll smooth that out on here, put on a layer of basalt, blast that, and so on. I had 3 shirts on for the morning chill, but the morning chill is already gone. We can't cover this, that's why we're here so early. No way to do that easily. So once this is glassed and hardens up, tomorrow we'll drill from the bottom through all these holes and create the hole in the basalt. And take a little countersink and make sure that it's a clean hole. But that's not the only thing we're going to do there. Is once we start working on the bottom part, we have to glass it, and then we'll have to come up the top and drill down through all that. So got a few little steps to get this correct this time. Okie doke, I have epoxy. Let's get to it. That was almost the perfect amount for the layer number 1. Now we'll get to layer number 2. Epoxy and be good to go. Oh, forgot something. All right. That. Tomorrow we'll pull this fuel plow. What Brian's doing right now is grinding off the excess that we purposely left on top of these cord holes so that we can drill these tank lids with a new hole that goes through the center of each of these little epoxy fills that we did here. So there's 4 lids, and he's just about got all 4 of these prepped for us. Okay, so our 4 lids all ready to go. But we're not ready to put these on yet. This is the port side finished up. We got to do the 2 starboard side ones. And we're mixing up enough epoxy that we're also going to fill along the edges of the little chines over there. Because of the way the angle was of the board, it left a little gap. And so we always knew we were going to fill that. And while we're doing this, we're going to take care of that. All right, we forgot to put the clamps on this one, but we got it all set now. So after these set up, we're going to tab not only this side, but the other ones that I have over here. Because before we stall them, it's much easier to get in here and do work and tab that whole inside. Same thing here, do all these insides. And we'll do these two that we just put together again, probably tomorrow, because these are good times to set up tonight. And then tomorrow we'll do all 4 of these. Now we're going into production on our little tubes that are going through the various black water, gray water, and diesel tanks that either have for pump outs or in or vents and all that good stuff. So we're making our own tubes. So we've cut some pieces of fiberglass here, which are going to wet out a little more. And then roll onto some PVC. Now for the gray water and black water, the PVC can actually stay inside. And the reason we put fiberglass is something to bond to as it goes through the wall. So that's what we're working on first. And let's get the right one here, Phil. Okay, it doesn't really matter. I'll do it the way it says, but it doesn't really matter. We're putting 4 wraps to get the thickness we want. And we're hoping, are your hands dry or not?
Mm-hmm.
You say, get the tape. Well,
Tape, which tape?
That. And I'm trying to see how thick the crossed here. You have to sort of visually. Is it enough to get to 1.5 inches?
Inch and a half, yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, so now we just have to make a bunch of these, but we're testing each of the different sizes that we're doing first.
1/2 inch.
Yep. For example, this is a vent tube, so it doesn't have to be very thick. Just a little bit of air going up to our vents above. So it's just a little narrow tube here. The reason we chose 4 wraps is because the outside diameter of the tube needs 4 wraps to get this to the right thickness for our vent tube to attach to it. Now we're doing the diesel tank. These are for our gravity gauge tube that could be a clear tube that we can see the diesel levels in them. So what we need on these ones is these have to be a 90 degree. So we're going to make a whole bunch of short, flat, straight pieces so that we can extract the PVC out of these, because it's diesel, we can't have the PVC in there. So I'm coating all these with a release agent right now. And then after it's set up, we'll have to extract all these out of there, cut them in half on a 45, or at least cut a 45 on the end, and then bond the two halves of set up fiberglass tubes with their 45s cut into them together and create our 90. I just buy these. Why not just buy them? Because I looked them up and they're ridiculous sums of money to buy a fiberglass 90 like I want. And I'm not really into spending ridiculous sums of money on something I can make. And so I can make these, so I will. Okay, our production is complete. We've got them all over here, suspended up and setting up on all these little holders here. And tomorrow we'll start cutting them at 45s for those ones that need to bend with a clear tube between. You'll get to see that. And the long ones here, these ones, these are where they mount through the tank, where we can glass them to the tank. This is the part that sticks out the top that we can put a hose onto, and this is the part that goes down to the bottom of the tank so that you can suck all of the, say, black water liquid from the bottom of the tank. So you're pulling from up above the tank here, and then you're going all the way down to the bottom of the tank to suck it out. So that's what these long ones are for. And now all the short ones like this, they just bond through, and then they just have a little piece of PVC sticking up the top. That's so we can put a hose with a hose clamp onto those to get those working. So that's what these are like over here. Same thing. These are vent tubes, and these are the ones that we're going to cut at a 45 and bond together and create our 90 degree turns there. All right, trying to pull the peel ply on this basalt here. That came out very nicely, but we're gonna have to fair this right now. So we'll fair these edges out, and just a little bit of fairing on top as well. So slight bit of fairing, and this will now be reinforced as it properly as it should have been to begin with. But a couple layers of basalt here, and then a whole bunch of reinforcements underneath. So, next thing up is we're going to mix up some fairing compound right now and go ahead and fair this. Okay, we're going to put a very thin layer of West System epoxy-based fairing compound on here, because all I'm trying to do is fill in just a little stippling and such on here. need more epoxy. So got the center stripe down pretty well, but I got to go along all the edges and smooth them out. All right, so that's as much as I really want to put on there. It just fills in all the little lines that are left over because of the shape of the basalt there, and got the edge smoothed off. So we'll let this set up today, and then Monday, actually today and tomorrow, and then Monday we'll give this a sand, see if there's any other fill spots that we have to do after we sand it, and we'll be ready to put the sail track back on again. We'll have to drill from the bottom where all the holes are, get those holes back again. We'll be ready to put this back, well, I shouldn't say that. On Monday, after we sand it, we have to paint this. And that means we have to put some primer coats on, and then the next day we have to put the real paint on. So it really won't be until later in the week, next week, that we actually put the sail track down. Now that I think about it, because we got to get to finished paint underneath of there. We're glassing tabs onto the inside of the new steps that we made. The upper ones, and second one on the starboard side, and then these are the shorter steps lower down. We'll tab in all these insides before we get them mounted into place anywhere. We forgot to fill one end of, part of the end of that step right there. So we cored it out and are filling it right now. So it'll end up being like this one. But we had already done this side, but we forgot those two. It's Sunday, normally my day off, but I want to get these bearings done so that we have them ready to go when the steering bar is ready. So, good friend of mine, Reichart, donated a whole bunch of L brackets to me that he had, aluminum. And so I got to dice these things up into small pieces. So I'm just going to do some quick cuts here. I need 15 of these and 15 of a little bit longer length. So just get to cutting these. While I continue working on the bearing brackets over there, I'm going to have Marianne do some work over here. I've got our tank inspection ports for the diesel tanks here
And we already filled all of these with, drilled them out and filled them with resin and let it seal it, but we've got to re-drill them now for the bolts to go through. So she's going to take care of that while I work on these.
All done. So now that we have all these holes drilled, that concludes our work for this week.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I was working on the steering bearings and had to run into a little problem there. I need some spacers that I don't have go on either side of each wheel, and so I'm going to have to order that. So we'll have to put those on pause until those spacers come in. But we do thank you all for coming by and watching this week's video.
Yes, thank you all. We appreciate you. And thank you to our patrons listed here. We couldn't do this project without you. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click on the bell icon to be notified of our next video.
And in our next video, we're going to be working back in the hulls again. I know we took a break from that and started working on the sugar scoops at the stern, but with those pretty far along, we want to get back into the hulls. And so we've got a lot of things to do in there. These tank lids were part of that, but we've also got to cut all the hatches into the sole and get a lot of plumbing done. And once all that's in, we can put in the dagger board casings. Once those dagger board casings are in, we can finally glue down the sole and get to work on all of the various walls and such for the heads and hallway. So lots of work to go there, and we're going to get started on that next week. We'll see you then.
Bye.